Hmm. Hey guys, I think I'm stuck with this orientation. Hello everyone and welcome to the show. It's really strange doing it outside of the studio. Can you guys hear me okay? Live from New York, it's Hemingway Jones. So, pretty great spot. I'll try to show you where I am if I can figure out how to do this without making you all nauseous. All right? I'm going to try to show you how fun this place is. Those are the elevator banks in all the rooms. So, so pretty nifty. I don't know why it locks in this orientation, but we'll just work with it and do the best we can. So, welcome everyone. So, I am coming to you live from Times Square, and it's been a really interesting week with quite a bit going on. A lot of really surprising little New York situations, a lot of really surprising fountain pen moments already, which is really strange. One of the ones that I was really surprised was that I went into the gift shop for the hotel, and they have a Lamy fountain pen display in the gift shop for the hotel. Now, sadly, someone had stolen the nib from the pen. Probably someone who knows fountain pens and knew that it just slipped off. So they slipped it off and took it with them. But they had a purple Lamy Safari fountain pen right there on a little string like you would find at the bank. So it was pretty surprising. But we took the train down and it was rather uneventful. My daughter adored the train, had no issues, and we actually are doing most everything we set out to do and recording quite a bit of b-roll along the way, which is a lot of fun. So I see Dr. Alaska's here. Hello, Dr. Alaska. I have your email and I need to respond to a very kind comment you left too. Thank you for that. Welcome to the channel. Happy to have you here. Dr. Alaska is a new member, and I'm very, very pleased to have you here. So, if anybody else wants to become a member of the channel, we are doing a ledger exchange, which is a lot of fun. But so I see that you are asking about the Fountain Pen Hospital. I had planned to go, but right now I'm not so sure because it's really out of the way of everywhere I am. I might turn around. I think if I sit on the other side, it might be a little more interesting for you guys, for what you can see. Yeah, it's probably a slightly more interesting view for you. But yeah, the one problem with a lot of the fountain pen stores is if you're doing a lot of the museums as I am, and you're traveling with the 6 year old as I am, you don't have the ability to sort of jump downtown. And the Fountain Pen Hospital is pretty far down Manhattan, pretty far south. So I don't know if I'm going to make it. I mean, tomorrow's our last full day, so I'm not really sure. Hello, 343 Overland. How are you? And Ichiro. Nice to see you all. And Simon. Am I going to any museums? Yes, yes. In fact, we've already been to the Met, and the Met was awesome, even better than I remembered. We spent almost 5 full hours in the Met, and when you're traveling with a 6 year old, That's pretty amazing. She had that kind of focus the whole time. And she's a big fan of ancient Egypt, and she loved the Temple of Daniel and all of the different sarcophagi and everything else that we saw. So I did a ton of B-roll in the Met, probably enough for 2 or 3 videos. So one of the ones that I'm sure I'm going to do is a full review on the bronze, Kaweco bronze. I know that's going to happen. So that's going to be brilliant. I see that. The- I can't quite read that. Theology Channel lives in New York and just visited the Fountain Hospital for. I wanted to go. It's just a bit out of the way. So yeah, why Baldwin says she's a fan of ancient Egypt. I wonder where that would come from. I'm sure much of it is from my wife and I, who are also big fans. I did bring the Egyptomania, and I did take some brilliant B-roll at the Temple of Dengra with the Egyptomania and with the bronze Kaweco Sport. So those are pretty nicely photographed. And I brought some other pens. I brought the beautiful Visconti Homo sapien Bronze Age. A lot of bronze on this strip, between the Kaweco bronze and this pen. So this is another one I'm doing a lot of B-roll. I did a bunch of B-roll with this at 30 Rock today. But one of the things I wanted to mention about the Met and the B-roll I did there is that I'm going to do a Kaweco bronze full review. I've already written it, and I have enough B-roll now. I just need to do the bumpers where I introduce it and I say, join the channel and all that. So I'll record those when I get back. And I have a few more things to record while I'm here. But I'm also feeling that I have enough material to do a Dark Academia Part 2. So I think you're going to see 5 more pens for Dark Academia because I brought the perfect pens for that. I was in the perfect settings and I did record quite a bit. So I think you're going to enjoy that. Miss Marilyn Dawn is asking, are we going to any shows on Broadway or off Broadway? No, we're not going to do the shows this time. I don't think my daughter's quite ready yet. There's quite a few things. She really surprises me. She's got an amazing attention span for a 6-year-old, but I think a 3-hour or 2-hour plus Broadway play is asking a lot. And even this week, she went to the museum, hung out for 5 hours, and was fine. It's just amazing. But at some point, she's going to hit her level. But I am very happy to say that those of you that have enjoyed the Dark Academia video, you will see a sequel. By the way, check this out. Look at this. How cool is that? Look at this. These are the elevators. Isn't that cool? It's beautiful architecture in this building. And it's amazing because it was designed by a developer and not by an architect. So it's pretty amazing. So, um, yeah, I would love to make the Dark Academia at the Cloisters. I don't know if we're going to make it up there. It's just a timing thing. I think tomorrow we may go to the Museum of Natural History, and I think that we'd be able to film a lot in there. And that's really for my daughter. I think she'll dig that. But it would be a fantastic place to film. So I'm not going to get upset about the things I can't do because I'm very impressed with the things that I did do. The main impetus for thinking about another Dark Academia video was that we did make it to the Morgan Library, and that was brilliant. We filmed quite a bit there. We studied a lot of what was going on and just got some really nice footage. So I just took so much footage, it's really ridiculous. Jim, tell us, keep Dark Academia coming. I will. I'll do those. Like I did the Huga thing, and I'm probably going to do another part of that in autumn. I kind of like tying in the different aesthetics. I might do cottagecore. I might do a few others. I like those, but the ones that really resonate with me are just preppy because I just am a preppy, and I can't hide that. That's just me being myself. And I think Dark Academia is just kind of me being myself. The other ones like cottagecore is probably closer to how my wife lives, so maybe I could use some of that, but I do like the idea of getting more into that. Chino Pagnani, how are you? The Morgan Library is incredible. It was a charming, small, lovely museum. Had a really, really good time there. So, so you're going to see those. You're going to see a little more sort of crossing with that. But I think the most dramatic thing coming up is going to be the Bronze Age, because the Kaweco bronze is is really going to lean into the idea of like what the Bronze Age and the changes that it made. I think that'll be really interesting. So, Dr. Alaska grew up on the main line. No kidding. I'm a Philly kid myself, but I'm from Juniata Park, so hardly the main line. But what can you do? Scrappy Philly guy. Saratoga for architecture, Beekman Hotel and their bar is amazing. You can't really beat New York for architecture. This hotel's been great. They have a restaurant that overlooks Times Square, which is really nice. But the best thing about this restaurant is that the rooms are so quiet. Probably the roughest thing about New York is we're dropping probably $1,500 a day here. Between the things you buy, the food, and everything else, it's expensive to stay here. So, but you gotta enjoy your time off. So, what are you gonna do? Nice G&T. So, there's a couple of things I want to make sure I cover. So, I want to mention to you that if you want a little bit of sort of a different perspective on a lot of the things that we've talked about on this channel about journaling and mental health and struggles and all of that. The Head Boy Roy show had me on as a guest with Tom Odo, and we spoke for about an hour, and they put the episode up on Saturday. I think it's episode 167. And it was good. It was a really interesting conversation. I always obsess that I don't do well, and there are times when I have guests on and I say, gee, I wish they had been a little bit more interactive. I wish they had asked more questions and whatnot. And I kind of now regret that I didn't ask more questions. I almost feel like I got a little wrapped up in myself. And I think part of it was that the nature of his questions were quite specific to mental health and very profound. And when you're talking about your struggles in those regards, it doesn't really inspire you to then say, and how about you? Do you know what I mean? But in retrospect, I think I, I just wish I had redirected towards him a bit more. So, so I see Terry Edgington saw me with one time. So that's good. I'm glad some of you guys are seeing it because I think you see it slightly different. Me, it was a different dynamic to be the subject of an interview instead of doing an interview, which I'm more used to. I can't get over this view. I just love it. It's one of my favorite things. Here comes the elevator. So that's super fun. That's so fun. So, James Fee, accommodations in New York City is very expensive. They need to build even more hotels. There's a shortage of affordable hostels. Yeah, there's a weird dynamic with New York. There are lovely hotels at every price point, and um, this place I like because it's quiet, but I don't like being in Times Square. That's a bit too rowdy for me, even though it's very well located to get anywhere, which I do like. So, but the hotel itself is very quiet. The staff is fantastic. It's clean. It's a Marriott, so it's very well done. I've stayed in a lot of boutique hotels, and some of them had very small rooms or strange layouts or weren't particularly quiet. But this one definitely met all of our needs. But this is not a cheap hotel to stay in, but it is fun, and fun trumps a lot of things. So. Simon asks, have I been taking the subway or Uber? Haven't taken Uber yet. We have taken the subway and we've taken some cabs. So, but not Uber. We went down to Battery Park today and we took the subway, which was fun. One of the things about New York is when you watch the news, they make it seem like New York is this like war zone, and it's just desolate and full of crime, and people are afraid to go outside their doors and all this. And I can tell you that I've been coming to New York since the 1980s, and this is the trip where I have felt the safest, and I feel that New York is at its friendliest and its most prosperous. People are out everywhere enjoying the city. People have really interesting street style. There's a lot of very elegant and interestingly dressed people. Everyone's very nice, and it's incredibly safe. The police presence is amazing. There is almost a policeman on every corner. It is incredibly safe. So it's just been a joy to be here. It's sort of like that romanticized New York that you wish existed actually exists. So I'm sure you could get in trouble if you go looking for it. But it's just been really a lovely experience. Yeah, Roxy Sosa says it's because news is no longer about journalism; it's about sensationalism. You're so right. The news really is, and I mean, some of these news outlets like Fox News is fabricating things all the time. So they've been specifically caught doing it. So, but yeah, just lovely, lovely place, and I I I haven't felt in any way uncomfortable. My daughter has seen some things and she asks questions. Like we ask her every day, like, what was your favorite thing? What was your least favorite thing? What did you see that really made you happy and inspired you? What did you see anything that you didn't understand and you want to talk about? Because like I want my daughter to see the world, but at 6 years old, a lot of it's going to confuse her. So she did see a guy who was like, I don't know what had happened to him, but he was like splayed out on the street. I don't know if he got hit by a car or somebody punched him or if he just passed out. But that that confused her, and I had to explain that to her. And then the only other thing was the singing cowboy. She doesn't like that. She doesn't like anybody who's not properly attired. So, so we had to explain all of that to her as well. So it was very interesting. Am I going to the Mont Blanc store? I don't know. Maybe. Um, I don't specifically plan to because we have a nice one in Boston. So it's not like I need to come here to get exposed to that. But maybe we'll kind of see how that rolls if I end up over there. Um, I wanted to go to the Lamy store, and it's in the village. It's about 2 blocks south of Washington Square Park. So there's a chance I might go there. And I still haven't bought a pen here yet. We did go to the Japanese stationery store that begins with a K. And you'll forgive me, but I keep forgetting what it's called. My wife knows it uh, very well. And they had a lot of really nice Pilot and Platinum and Kavekos and Lamis. They had a really interesting Lamy floor display that was sort of tall and you could move it around. And they had the ballpoint pens, the roller balls, and the different fountain pens. And one of the interesting things was the Lamy Vista comes as a demonstrator. And I wonder why the Safari does it. We need a Safari demonstrator. So I see a bunch of you guys. I see Wolf, Kate Witch, hello, and Miss Marilyn Darling are asking if we went to Yoseca. And we did. It's in Brooklyn, and Brooklyn is just too far afield to get to this trip. So maybe some other trip, but it would eat up like a half a day or a whole day, and we just don't have it. So sadly, it's just too far afield. I mean, all the fountain pen places are kind of far afield. So, but the Japanese stationery shop, which is really a bookstore, had some things I was really tempted. They had the Kanazawa Haiku Matsutora and the other ones in their collection by Platinum. They had a full selection of Platinum Placers and 3776s and a whole bunch of Yurishi pens of various makes, pilots and others. But I I didn't buy one because when I went there, it was very early in the trip. We had gone to Bryant Park and we had lunch at the Bryant Park Grill outside. And then we took my daughter onto the carousel, which was lovely. And then about 2 blocks away was the stationery store and Muji. We went to Muji too. Muji has a fountain pen, but they were out of stock. It's like an aluminum kind of basic fountain pen. It looked interesting, but I it wasn't in stock. But I did buy a brush pen. They had sort of a like a magic marker brush pen for doing kanji. I bought one of those because I thought it would be fun. And I've played with it a little bit, but I really haven't dug in. So it should be pretty interesting. Um, yeah, Lori Tata says it's a journey to get there. It is. It's very far afield. And I have to watch with my daughter. We just kind of have to pace her because if you wear her out, then you don't get to do some of the other stuff. So you sort of have to end up in locales and then do things around it. But I'm not disappointed, guys. I mean, you can't do everything. I've been to Rome in my life about 12 times, and I've never seen the Augusta Suprema Porta. And I've went looking for it almost every time, but I got distracted by this, that, and the other thing. So it's just part of the game when you're traveling. So you do the best you can. Oh, Wolf K. Wick says there's a Muji in Boston. I didn't even know that. Chiro, good advice. Leave something for next time, truly. And I know that we'll be back. James Fahey says kids have a limited range and focus and energy. Truly. I can't put your comments up. There's a couple of things like I couldn't run the credits. Can't put your comments up, I'm afraid. I'd love to play you some of the B-roll if I could. And I messed up the orientation, but we're just going to muddle our way through. I think we're doing pretty good. So, one of the other things I want to mention is that about 6 years ago, when Helen and I were in London, we went over to Kensington and we went to Frederick Leighton's house. And he's a painter who is a pre Raphaelite. And we are huge, huge fans of pre Raphaelites. He painted a painting, and those of you who follow me on Instagram might know about this already, but he painted a painting called um, Flaming June. So, Flaming June is this Mannerist style painting of this woman, and she's sort of like luxuriating in this like this silky diaphanous dress in a saffron color with this beautiful cascade of red hair and the sun shimmering on the ocean behind her. It's quite a striking image. And it has an interesting history because it was obviously a pre Raphaelite painting, passed down through the years. And the pre Raphaelites fell out of favor so far that by the 1940s and the 1950s, you couldn't give away a pre Raphaelite painting. This particular one was in a junk shop in London. And Andrew Lloyd Webber, who's one of the people who popularized Pre-Raphaelites again, and who started an extensive collection. One of the reasons he collected so vociferously is because he couldn't get this painting. It was £1,000, which is a pittance for this painting, but he couldn't scrape together the money at the time. He was just starting out. I think he tried to get his aunt to buy it, and for whatever reason, she said no. So she, it it got beyond him. And this painting passed through hands and what have you. And I believe it's in a private collection now in Puerto Rico. And you really can't see it. But because of the earthquake damage down there, it was loaned back to the Met or to the Met. And so there it is at the Met. And my wife knew it and she didn't tell me. So she took me there. And when I saw it, it just like I just had such an intense emotional reaction. It just made me like tear up, and it was just so amazing to just see how beautifully rendered it is, and what a beautiful painting. I had actually taken a photograph of my wife a few years ago and put her in that pose, and then I took the image and superimposed it on the backdrop, which I also put on my Instagram if you want to see it. But it was just a really powerful moment. So pretty great. So I hope you guys, if you live in New York, go see Flaming June. So it's pretty great. I see Jen Tallis saw it, so she knows what I'm talking about. So James Byron, I see the Van Gogh at the Met. Yes, we did. We saw quite a few of them. In fact, I've been meaning to put up a a story on Instagram because I'm a big Van Gogh fan. I love his work, but I do think some of it's rubbish. And I know that's like the worst thing to say. And I love like, Starry Night's brilliant. And um, Sunflowers. I love how amorphous they are. But then I forget the name of the painting, but it's the woman holding the baby. I think that's kind of rubbish. I think it's an off day for him. I think it's a really terrible painting. I'm sorry, Vincent. I'd never say it to him if he could hear me, but he's not here anymore. But it's sort of like the way I look at Van Gogh is like Genius, 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 rubbish, genius, 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 genius. It's kind of like that. And that baby pick, it's not good, in my opinion. But the rest is really nice. So, Angel Londian, what you doing in New York City? You know, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Trying to experience as much of the city as I can. It's been about 6 years since I've been here. I've driven through it many times, but it's been about 6 years. And the odd thing is, I've never stayed overnight with my wife. So, so Ichiro doesn't like Van Gogh, but he likes Gauguin. And Gauguin is actually always still friends with Van Gogh across the gallery. There he is. So that's pretty nice. Simon Cooper asked about Pizarro. I am very, very, very familiar with Pizarro. I like Pizarro. Give you guys a bit of the view up the elevator shaft. It's I think there's 46 floors in this hotel. Oh, Terry Edgerton with the super chat, the kitty. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Thank you, Terry. You're the best. I appreciate it. I love super chat. I love it. Thank you. And anybody else want to likes help too. So thanks. Very lovely. So the Met was really a revelation. Just seeing as much as we saw. Sadly, the European paintings from 1300 to 1800 were not open. So that's sad. Simon Krupa asks, do I have any new wax seals? Thanks, Terry. Terry says you're welcome. Thank you, Terry. Very kind. You're the best. Terry's a member of the channel, too. You should be a member of the channel. Come join us. I'm writing a lot of letters these days, guys. I hope some of you have received my latest round of letters where I'm experimenting with my wax seals. And I think I'm getting better at it. By the way, if you're not using Jaerbon wax seals, then I don't know what you're doing. Because the Chinese stuff, you just have to toss that stuff. It's not very good. And the Jaerbon really lifts the whole experience. For one thing, it has this really spicy smell to it. It smells almost like cardamom. And it is very even in how it melts. It's like American cheese. It melts without splitting. If anybody knows that reference, I'd be impressed. But American cheese is the only cheese for a hamburger because it melts without splitting. Or a cheeseburger, right? I'll make you a cheeseburger that makes you think you're eating a cheeseburger for the first time. Anyway, so Jaerbon, the seals melt without splitting, without like hooping together, and then it pours very evenly, and it's also very flexible, so it doesn't get damaged in shipping. Although I put my seals on the inside of the envelope so that they don't get ripped off, and it adheres to the paper very well. But Simon asked about the actual seals. And I've fallen down the vintage wax seal rabbit hole. So I bought one that is like a profile of a Roman general or some such. And then, but that hasn't arrived. And that's in glass and it's in Italio. So it's the reversed image impressed. Maybe it's at my house now because I don't know. My house sitter didn't say anything, but I get a lot of packages. So it's possible that it's there. But I also bought an S that's a vintage S that I saw on eBay that I really like. So I think vintage wax seals are now kind of a thing with me. So you'll see those on the new letters that I send out. So it should be interesting. And I really love the J. Bond stuff. I love the way it smells, and I just love it in use. So very, very good stuff. Been using a lot of different pens. I almost don't want to talk about it too much because I just wrote the review, but the bronze Kaweco is really interesting. And I took some footage of some Rodin bronzes that you guys won't believe. I think they'll spin your that will spin your head. Hey, is Kim Long here? How are you? Nice to see you. Very good. Judy Anderson says vintage is starting to attract me. I think the vintage wax seals are a lot of fun and they're really interesting, but the nicer ones tend to be very, very expensive. Also, you have to ask yourself whether or not it bothers you that it's someone else's initials. So far, I've only bought ones that are mine, and I almost bought a H for my wife. K Long with the $5 super chat. Thank you very much. That's lovely of you. It's so nice to see you on here too. I'm pretty sure K Long is family, so that's a very nice donation. Always nice to see actual friends and family show up too. Oh, it's lovely. Speaking of friends, Jim Tallis. Listen, what Simon Krupa. I got into wax seals over Christmas and have been obsessed ever since. It's an easy rabbit hole to fall down. Terry Eggleton, J. Bond inks, wax seals. All J. Bond is great. All J. Bond is great. The only thing I haven't used from them are pens. Has anyone ever tried their pen? I've tried their glass pen, and it's brilliant. But I've never tried that plastic pen of theirs. So that would be fun. Why Ballrin? I have some of the Jeroboam supple wax, the one you can actually use in the post. You can use it in the post, but I'll be honest, I don't know if you should because it's still going through those high speed sorters and it can still get stuck or just ripped off. So I don't put them on the outside. I personally put them on the inside, but that's just me. Oh, Miss Madeline Darling has tried their plastic pen, which is included in a freebie as an eyedropper. It's not great because it bloops, like burps, like um, yeah, that isn't great if it does that. But the glass one's great. Terry Egerton's used the glass one. Burps. I like bloops. Miss Madeline Darling, I think you should run with bloops the way I ran with mac and cheese pens. Did everyone see the mac and cheese pens video? I think it was a lot of fun. We talked about how there are these types of pens that are just very personal to you, and you go back and you revisit them from time to time. And if you kind of have a moment where you need to reconnect or center, you want to grab one of your mac and cheese pens. So, oh, Miss Valentine liked that video, so thank you. The next one is the next video, I believe on Friday, is the Jair Bond video. So I guess it's timely I'm talking about Jair Bond. Pretty sure that's what's coming out on Friday. So it should be super fun. Dr. Alaska likes the mac and cheese idea. K Long, yes, I loved it. The concept translated well, and I definitely have my own mac and cheese pens. Brilliant. Brilliant. Uh, da, 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 da. Wolf Cape Witch. That video is really cool. Dr. Les, mine's a Mont Blanc 149 and Pilot Custom 74. I don't have a Pilot Custom 74, but I do have a Mont Blanc 146. I actually brought it with me on this trip. That's a brilliant pen. That may be the perfect pen in its size, which also makes the Sailor 1911L the perfect pen, since they just are identical. Lori Tata, I listened to your interview with Penboy Roy and Tom this morning. I really enjoyed it. I'm so glad. I haven't listened to it myself. I only remember doing it, and I'm a little self conscious about it. For one thing, I'm really impressed with how quickly he put it up because we recorded that on Wednesday and he put it up on Saturday. So he's very, very good at that. So I'm really glad rather, and impressed at how quickly he put that up. Why Bear? The one about the history of the brand. Yes. So the video that's coming out on J.R. Bond, it goes through the history of J.R. Bond. It talks a little about who Jacques Herbin was. Not that a lot's known about the guy, to be honest, but that which is known about him, I tell. Then I talk about their sealing waxes and their traditional inks. And then I do the unboxing because they sent me a nice care package. And then I review them. It's actually kind of ambitious. I probably could have divided it into multiple videos. But it's history of Jeroboam, spotlight on some of their products, then unboxing of what they sent me, and then reviews of what they sent. And I think it's about 20-24 minutes. So maybe a little long for me, but not the longest thing I've ever done. The Fountain Pen Hospital is not that close to where I am. And that's the sad thing. It's down closer to like Wall Street. So I could take I think it's the one train, and it would take me down there. But I just, it's a lot of time, and I just don't know. I actually bought another pen that's home waiting for me. I bought one of the Kaweco Perloid pens because it was just so pretty. I had to have it. And it pretty and inexpensive. So I violated a couple of my own rules about not buying pens. Like, you don't need a pen in a different color. And then I was like, ooh, that's pretty. But the way I talk myself into it, my rationalization is that it'll be good for the channel. And it's true, it will be good for the channel, but that still doesn't mean that I need to buy something. So, M. Sean Plans. I love the personal connection you have with your pens. Thanks so much. That's important to me. Like, that's kind of my whole channel. I think that people like Tom Odo and some of the other people that you don't see them, you just see their hands. I think they're probably better than I am at the length of the pen, the weight, and then they're going to write. They always write the same sentence. Brown foxes, the brown fox does something. Like, that's kind of their focus, and I think they're better at doing that than I am. What I try to do is talk about what are the connections? What makes the pen special? Who are you when you use it? Why would you reach for this rather than something else? What's the history of this? What are the design elements? How does this fit in with history, with culture? What are its associations? By the way, could a pen be more Italian than the Visconti Homo sapiens? This pen is so Italian. It has Italy in it. Its resin is made from igneous rock from Sicily. I mean, that's just so brilliant. And the gentle curving arch of the clip is from the under arch, the support arch of Ponte Vecchio in Florence. I mean, it's so Italian. I love it. And it's slightly mad, as all beautiful artistic things from Italy should be. It's gorgeous. I love this pen. I love crazy things. I love things that inspire me. Terry Egerton actually renamed a few of my pens, my mac and cheese pens, after that video. I'm so glad. Thanks so much. So happy to hear that. James Byron, the interview was really good. Thanks. I really need to listen to it. I I was surprised how deep we went. To be honest, I was expecting Penboy Roy and I to talk about what our favorite pens were. I didn't think it would be all about journaling and mental health and overcoming obstacles. So I was very pleasantly surprised about that. Dr. Elastic, excited for this one. I've been waiting to purchase a wax seal kit until I found what's good. I'll be honest, I don't think there's any sealing wax out there as good as J or Bot. If there is, and there may be, I don't know what it is. I quite like their burgundy, and my favorite is their gold. And the ivory is really nice too, but it gets lost a little bit on regular paper. But buy something like that, maybe find a vintage wax seal. The combination, exquisite. So exquisite. Simon Krupa, have you ever been to Italy? Great Italian food products. I have. Boston has one or had one. I'm not sure. I haven't been over to the Prudential Center in a while. Gloria Tata, convictions are just fun and affordable. Just enjoy. They are. And I don't know about you, but I am so excited and so looking forward to getting a piston filled Kaweco Sport because I hear they're coming and I just have to have one. Missed N, your wife is going to run off with that Pearl Kaweco. She's already claimed it. So I'm going to do some footage with it and then she's going to take it, I'm sure. Here's the elevators again. If any of you are just joining, here's the elevator. Very, very interesting spot that I'm in today. So yes, I know my wife is going to take that pen. Oh, Miss Valentine, the quick brown dog jumps over the lazy fox. Yeah, how do people write the same sentence? I sometimes write nonsense, but I would be so bored if I wrote the same thing. I don't know if you guys know this, but if you watch my videos and you watch what I'm writing, it's usually some kind of Easter egg that relates to the pen. And sometimes they're inside jokes, but what I'm writing is full of Easter eggs. Or it's a quote from a movie, or I'm writing my wife some kind of a love letter just for her so she can see it when she watches it. But I would never just write like the same sort of sentence that you would type. I'd be so bored. Lots of love for the Visconti homelessy. Oh, hi, Summer Pearls. Mindfulness fits perfectly into using fountain pens. I like the way you draw these two things together. Thanks so much. I'm going to do a lot more content on journaling. I am working on a script now, and I'll be filming it soon. So we're going to see a lot more of that. Jack Froelich. I love the Homo sapiens. Definitely one of my favorite top 3 Grail pens. It is really fun. I really like it. Miss Fallon, darling, I like when other people inspire me to see other pens or inks or paper. Yeah, one of the best parts. That pen is so Italian, it starred in The Godfather. Well done, Eric. Nice to see you, too. That's a great line. Miss Fallon, darling, you're a great inspiration. You're entirely too kind, but I do appreciate it. Thank you. Debbie Podgorski. That's a gorgeous pen. Thank you so much. Mark Uber. The quick brown fox sentence is employed because it uses every letter of the alphabet. So it's still boring and ridiculous. One thing I vow not to do is bore you guys. I I really will never do that. Jack Froelich, is that a Submariner on your wrist? Handsome pens and handsome watches. Thank you. This is actually a GMT Master 2 with the black ceramic bezel. So it's very close to a Submariner, but it has a GMT hand and it has a GMT bezel. So my wife bought me this watch, and I hardly ever take it off. But when I do, I usually wear my Cartier tank. I love my Cartier tank too. I brought my Cartier tank. I've been wearing my Cartier too, which is also fun. Terry Edgington. I like making the connection to my pens. It's probably why you're my number one pen person. Thanks so much. I really appreciate that. I love having you here. You guys inspire me as much as I inspire you. Believe me. That's why I'm so active in the comments. I love you guys. Miss Marilyn, darling, I really like using a sparkly hot stick glue and putting a little silicone on my stamp. That sounds really creative. There's someone else I follow on Instagram also who uses different colors of wax, and I don't know, I really, I don't even know if it's a woman or a man, but because they never show their face or anything, but they have their stamp and they take a little spatula and they'll fill in, like, I use a mermaid stamp sometimes. I actually bought it because my daughter loves mermaids, and it's very Art Nouveau. It's crazy. If any of you have gotten my mermaid stamp, put it in the comments. But I do use it quite a bit. Let's use that as an example. They'll take a spatula and fill it in with like white wax and then put everything around it in red or green, or maybe do the leaves in green and the rest, and then puts the stamp down. It's multicolored. It's brilliant. So talented. But I don't know their names. So Zetlin Kozan, burgundy is big money color. It's a great color. Halo, still there. Caitlin Lewis. Miss Valentine. Well, it's way to use all letters, see what they might look like being written in a certain pen. Yeah, but do you guys really need that? You need to know. Like, I don't think you guys need that. But see, that's why people are better at that than I am. Because, like, I don't say, I wonder what the letter C looks like written with a Kaweco press board. I don't know. I could write the alphabet. My G&T's gone. Dun, dun, dun. Major Tom, love the channel. Found it while researching fountain pens. Now I keep going back to hear you talk about everything. Thanks so much. I thought I'd kind of, I think one thing I could do more is talk a little bit more about myself and maybe a little bit more about some of my other opinions. Just so you guys get to know me a little better. Because I do keep things mostly on fountain pens. So, I don't know. One of the things that is really kind of one of my stupid opinions, but I do believe it, is that Levi jeans are really the only appropriate jeans. And I own other jeans, but like Levi jeans are the only real jeans. And that's mostly like 504s and 501s. And all other jeans are just okay. Like I have a pair of Wranglers that are like this perfect pale blue, like a beautiful, perfect pale that complements like Lacoste polo shirts perfectly. But I only feel comfortable in Levi's. It's crazy. Lots of great comments tonight, guys. I'm debating the Homo sapiens or the Divina. I'm debating the Lotus Garden, but I think I'm going to let it slide. Dr. Alaska would love to see your typewriter collection as well. I have done typewriter videos. I did a couple rare typewriters and typefaces, but nobody watches them. They get the least amount of views of anything I put up. And it makes me kind of sad. I wish I could get you guys into typewriters, but I think fountain pen people only care about fountain pens, which is fine. It is a fountain pen channel. I get it. Joe Frolic. I usually write poetry, other people's. I'm too unoriginal, but sometimes I have nothing to write, but I'm desperate to write, so I just sit there, write about whatever I see out the window. A stream of consciousness is totally legit. I have no problem with that. Dan Druin, nice sub date. Need to watch EP pairing vid. Yes, I should pair watches to fountain pens. That would be fun. Oh, not EP, FP. Sorry, I should do that. This is actually not a sub. This is a Rolex GMT. It's the Rolex GMT with the black bezel. It's reference 116710 LN for you watch nerds like me out there. But it has a GMT hand, it has a GMT bezel. But it looks a lot like a sub. But thank you. Puppet Access, letter done today, should go out tomorrow. Thanks, I appreciate it. No pressure. I'm still away, so I'll get it when I get home. But thanks so much. Really appreciate it. Jack Froelich, I'm new to watches, love them for the same reason I love fountain pens, art and function. There's a lot of similarities with watches and fountain pens, but there's a lot more money in watches. So, like the watch section of YouTube is huge, and the fountain pen section of YouTube is tiny. But I like this little corner of the internet where we talk about fountain pens. Summer pearls. I use mica powder, but I fill the stamp's recesses via paintbrush. Really sparks the design of the stamp. That sounds brilliant and so creative. I don't think I could do it. I really don't. I wish I could, but that is so brilliant. Way to go. Uh, Ken Long, you could write your story one sentence at a time per video review and you get to follow along. That's a brilliant idea. That's a really good idea. I do write some original poems, but they're usually not very good because it's hard. Because a lot of times I'm actually speaking while I'm writing. I usually don't do voiceovers. I'm usually talking and writing. Actually, sometimes I'm doing voiceovers. But even still, it's hard to when you have the camera. It's that sense that there's this camera focused on what you're doing, and then you have to write an actual poem. It can be kind of tough. But you're thinking of fake name. What travels outside of Italy? Me? I haven't. I tend to go back to the same places, and I married an English girl, so we go to the UK quite a bit. But we've gone to different parts, and we've really taken in the whole country. But a lot of the country, not the whole country. Um, spent a lot of time in Cornwall and a lot of time in London because any trip you're going to be there and before and after. But beside that, I've been to Spain. I've been all over the Caribbean, Mexico, and that's really about it. My wife is more intrepid traveler than I am. She's been to Asia and Hong Kong, which I know is in Asia, Japan, also in Asia, and and all around Europe, Amsterdam, all sorts of places I haven't been to. So, Miss Garland, darling, have to say that the best jeans are Armani. I don't know, like maybe, but like to me, if you want to wear jeans with a shirt like this. I'm actually wearing jeans right now. Levi's are the only ones that look appropriate for me. I have a pair of jeans that were handmade in Los Angeles, and they're the same ones that Jason Momoa wore as Aquaman. And they're really nice jeans, and they fit me brilliantly, but they don't look right with the kind of clothes I wear. Zetlin Kozan, I really enjoyed your last ink video. It's been too long since I've done an ink video. I did those 5 best favorite inks. I'm going to do a part 2 of that. I've picked up a few new inks lately that are really starting to peak with me. So I'm going to dig into that. I actually have tried Armani jeans when I was young and trendy and thinner, and they are very nice. They are very, very nice. Simon Cooper, Wranglers are good as well here in Colorado. I love the color of my Wranglers. I love pale blue. It's that the paleness of blue is almost a mystical color. There's two extremes I really like. I love Japanese real indigo dye. I adore it. And I love faded with a perfect uniform pale blue. Love that. Jack Frolich, I'm wearing some Levi's right now, and they're the only comfortable jeans I own. 511. 511s are brilliant. Love 511s. Awesome. Awesome job. Dave Logan, I use fountain pens as often as possible in my job. Construction hall office, halfway risk. People are always blown away when I pull out my Kaweco Navy Sport. That's a great pen for that. A brass would be nice too, or a bronze, but heavy. So I think the Navy, you knocked it out of the park. Well done. Miss Madeline Darling, I watched the typewriter videos. Thank you. Thank you to anyone who's watched the typewriter videos because they were not popular. As a matter of fact, I put up a video on the rarest typeface, this very expensive typewriter I have, and it actually took me about a month to recover. It hurt my algorithm with YouTube so much that I had to fight my way back. That cursive typewriter, it's good. Oh, funny. Roxy and 1460s are the only Doc Martens that matter. Yeah, yeah. I'll have to agree with that. And I have other ones. I have the Doc Marten Brogues, and I have a bunch of Solivars too. But I don't disagree. Did I see the new Star Trek Strange New Worlds? Miss Madeline Darling asked. I haven't, and I love Star Trek when it's good, and I hear that's good, but I don't have Paramount. So, sorry, but I'd love to see it. It looks brilliant. Tom Morley thinks my watch is more interesting than some. Thank you. Let me see. Okay, Puppet Access. Video ideas. Since you're considering looking at less expensive fountain pens, how about I send you 3 pens and you have to guess how much they cost without cheating? Um, yeah, I mean, that would be fun. I just don't want people to send me anything because I'd hate to lose it or something. So, but beside that, it would be fun. Maybe if you send me pictures, if you email me pictures, that would be better. Puppet Access is a fan of Cornwall. I like to see that. Joseph Brown is here. Hello, Joseph. Jack Frolich, I've never been outside the U.S. Definitely hoping to do Japan someday. Buy some pilots are available in that market. Well, the Japanese stationery store here that begins with a K has those, has the pilots that are only available in Japan. And however they get them, they do. There, there's one I looked at that's so pretty that they have, but it's like $50 and the quality wasn't that great. So I didn't get it. Paramount has all the Star Treks. It's great. Month or two, watch the show, enjoy it. Brilliant visuals are so good. It looks really good. I know this sounds strange, but I love Captain Christopher Pike's hair. That guy has some good hair. And I love that old Star Trek aesthetic that it has, so I think I would really like it. Picard season 3 was good. That's good to hear because I wasn't impressed with season 1. Great, great hair, man. That's it. Jack Froland says any Star Trek without William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy feels like a fan film. There's only one true Star Trek. Yeah, but the only problem with that is that those guys are gone. I mean, Shatner's still with us. The guy looks great for 91, but he's not playing Kirk again anytime soon. That's the only problem. Simon Krupa, thoughts of the Lefty GMT? I actually love the color of it, but I wish the crown were on the other side. But I quite like it. Lots of Star Trek love. I have no trouble with that. I love Star Trek. Hmm. Well, looks like it's getting late. I might have to walk back. Let's take a walk, shall we? Oh, you think Shatner's going to do a cameo? That would be good. Ichiro wrote the name of the K beginning stationery store that I cannot say. So, super fun. Thank you. Let's take a stroll, shall we? I'm trying to decide if I want to get some snacks. There's a great store here. I'll put it behind me. See, it's like a fantastic store. It's also a Starbucks, which is like super handy. Super, super handy in the morning when you want coffee. There's actually a really good coffee place across the way. This lobby's always jumping. People checking in, checking out any time of day. It's pretty great. I want to take you guys up the elevators if I can. Let's see. It's really fun the way the floors just fly by. Let's see what happens. Ooh, you guys coming? Sure, no problem. Nice hat. Right? That's what I said. Yeah, what's styling? It's a style for me. It's like a vibe. Yeah, let's go. I checked it on Sunday, and then Sunday, sorry, doctor, please. No, you cannot. You cannot. There's so much. Yes, so next year is going to be so much different. It's going to be smooth. We're going to walk through it and like walk through it. I am. I love it. So I love the class. I love everything about it. So it's just like, I am. That's what I keep dressing. I just have to get back because I want to see my doctor before she goes to bed. Okay. Super fun, right? Now we're all the way up here. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I think the reception is getting bad, so I'll see you all. Thanks so much. Love you guys. New video on Friday, and we'll be live again soon. So everyone take care, and we'll see you very, very, very soon. Oh, I am back. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna get going, guys, because I don't know how long the connection will last. But I do appreciate, yeah, everyone showing up, and thanks so much. We got some great videos coming up. So shot so much B-roll here. So love you all. See you soon. Stay well.